Calvin Coolidge was president. The Minnesota Twins were better known as the Washington Senators, and the nation was in the midst of Prohibition. It was 1924, and radio was still somewhat new. In Minneapolis, executives of the Washburn Crosby Company, we know them today as General Mills, were intrigued by this new technology. They were especially interested in how radio might help them in their constant battle with rival Pillsbury. They bought a fledgling Minneapolis station, changed its call letters to WCCO to reflect the company name, and launched what they called the Gold Medal Radio Station. And that's how WCCO was born. We at WCCO love to talk about our great heritage, about our rich tradition, but we never look back for long. We've been the region's dominant radio station for 70 years because we know that it's today that really matters to our listeners. And that's what this is all about. I'm Steve Cannon, and over the next several minutes, we're going to look at why WCCO, after 70 years, is still the most listened to radio station in Minnesota, why we remain a community leader, and why we continue to be the first and best choice for advertisers. At WCCO, we know it's our personalities who make this radio station so unique. That's been true for each of the 70 years we've been on the air, and it's especially true in the morning. Each week, nearly 500,000 people tune in to WCCO's Good Morning Show.
Good morning, good morning. It's grand to be young, and good morning to you.
We like to say that Minnesota mornings begin on WCCO. WCCO is the one place listeners can tune to learn everything they need to plan their days. Eric Eskala and Telly Mamayak provide the local news. Well, the CBS radio network updates Minnesotans every hour with national news.
To hike interest rates again, at least 100 Haitians dead in flooding after tropical storm.
Roger Strom covers business, providing updates on both the financial and agriculture markets.
All right, thank you very much. Karen Holtmeyer.
WCCO is the only Minnesota radio station with a full-time meteorologist. We have 3 of them. Mike Lynch has the morning duty.
Mostly cloudy skies tonight. We'll see some flurries, but windy and colder after midnight. That cold front will come crashing through.
The Good Morning Show also has the best sports. Sid Hartman and Mark Rosen are 2 of Minnesota's most listened to sports authorities, and they're both part of the Good Morning Show. What about traffic? As the Twin Cities become more and more congested, our Chopper 830 traffic reports with Dean Spratt and Jerry Peterson are essential for rush hour commuters. And how do we tie this information package together? With 2 of the most popular broadcasters in Twin Cities radio, Roger Erickson and Dave Lee. Roger and Dave are nothing if not versatile. One moment, they're doing Minnesota Hospital.
Today, we find Dr. Gil Whitney talking to Nurse Helen Trent in Winthrop, Minnesota.
Helen.
Gil.
Another moment, Dave's belting home runs in a charity softball game.
Lee with a drive to right. It's gone. Touch 'em all, Dave Lee.
The next moment, they're interviewing President Clinton.
You know, every time you come to Minnesota, you appear to be kind of revitalized, almost like our happy warrior here in Minnesota, Hubert Humphrey. Are you more comfortable in this DFL bastion?
Well, I like Minnesota a lot. I think it's a fine state. It's full of people without regard to party who basically want to pull together and do good things and move forward.
But whatever it is they're doing, Roger and Dave are always entertaining or informing. Roger Erickson is already a legend in Minnesota radio, and he's just hitting his stride. He is one of the biggest reasons WCCO's Good Morning Show is so popular.
Broadcasting live from Studio 6, it's Wes Minter over WCCO.
The middays on WCCO are also entertaining and informative. Wes Minter is on the air from 9 to noon every weekday, and he talks about the issues that concern Minnesotans most. And in just a short time, Wes's show has become one of the most interesting and talked about shows in Twin Cities radio. And the same is true for Karen Grace. She's often on the opposite end of the political spectrum from Wes, but she keeps the conversation upbeat and lively. At 3, Minnesotans drive home with Cannon and Kozlak. As the senior partner of this team, I can tell you that our job is to make your drive more enjoyable. Ruth Kozlak brings an interesting perspective to daily life and offers some great insights on this crazy world. And at times, I like to pontificate myself. Really a Bush League town. And then we get a little help from the little cannons. Morgan Mundane, Backlash, LaRue, and Ma Linger. After Ruthie and I sign off, one of the brightest young talents in Twin Cities radio signs on. John Williams. He's energetic, a lot of fun. In addition to hosting his weeknight talk show on WCCO, John is at the Mall of America every Saturday, talking about what's happening at the mall and throughout the Twin Cities. Another guy doing double duty is Dark Star. He hosts Sports Night each weeknight for an hour, then changes hats and talks news and issues with guests and callers on Night Talk. During the Vikings season, he and Mark Rosen host a special Monday Night Football pregame bash, which is broadcast live from Rosen's restaurant. We keep the weekends just as interesting, and play-by-play sports are a big reason why. Most of the year, WCCO is the exclusive radio home of Twins baseball and Gophers football and basketball. Herb Carneal and John Gordon bring you every hit and every run in every Twins game.
For the pass there from the official. This time he makes it. First point of the game belongs to the Gophers.
And Ray Christensen does the same when it comes to Gophers football and basketball.
He hustles it into the front court.
Before the game on Sunday, WCCO has the most popular radio sports show in Minnesota, the Sports Huddle, with regular contributors that include Gophers football coach Jim Wacker, Gophers basketball coach Clem Haskins, and the Twins manager Tom Kelly. These shows are a lot of fun, and we do everything we can to make our programming entertaining. But we never forget our primary mission, to inform the people of Minnesota. That's why our coverage of news and weather is so important. And no one covers the news or weather like we do, whether it's providing complete election coverage or providing severe weather information or simply providing top and bottom hour news. Minnesotans have come to depend on us. It is this dedication to excellence that has kept WCCO #1 for all these years. That's right, #1.